Hello, how are we doing today? My name is Spectrum Dominus, and today we are sorting cards for grading purposes. Now, this is the umpteenth number in a long series where I go through my old sports cards, not always, but sometimes, or even recent boxes that I opened and just put to the side and I didn't go through and decide what was going where. And we sort through them. We decide what we're throwing into team sets, just the common stuff. What is a star that needs to be graded and sold? What needs to be just sleeved and sold? What is personal to me that I'm keeping? The guy's IPC, stuff like that. So our last video, we just picked up a random box that had a bunch of 89 and 90 tops in it and got nothing. We got absolutely nothing. Not a single star in it. This time we know there's some stars because we're doing the 1988. It's the original, and it's in this box is battered. I used tape. I used to tape it shut. You can see that the side broke out of it, and it's taped there. I got it. The whole bottom is taped. This set I've had since Christmas 1988. Is what I got for Christmas every year. My mom and dad bought me all the sets. So I have a bunch of sets. We're going through all of them randomly here and there, and we're going to do this in 3 segments. I'm going to open it up, take approximately, there's 660 cards, so I'm going to take approximately 220 cards, give or take, and we're going to sort those today. We're going to go through them, pull out the stars, see if there's anything exciting that we forgot about, and then we'll do something else in the next video. And every other or every 3 videos or so, we'll do a part of this set until it's gone. And then we'll pull another set. So we don't want to mix it up as just always sets. We don't want to mix it up as always old cards that are just randomly in boxes. We want to keep some kind of switching back and forth going. So today we're doing this set. So we're going to open up the box and pull out it. Apparently, back when I did this, I don't know if it didn't come with it or whatever. Now, what I did, I was a kid, so these cards have been touched and handled and whatever, but I would always open them up and put them in numerical order. So that was how I looked at the sets. I didn't care. I wasn't a collector in the keep them in top condition. I wasn't doing anything to damage them on purpose, but I treated it like something to interact with, as if you bought me a video game. I interacted with my cards, and I did that by opening the boxes, pulling the cards out, and putting the set in order because they come in random jumbled numbers. So they're all gonna be pretty much in order. The colors will be together today, but I don't remember how the Sports Flicks, the history cards, these things, McGuire sets rookie record, I don't remember how they were packaged originally, but they're sitting in a napkin that has been, this was to keep the box from shifting or whatever. Napkins wrapped around. This is what I did when I 88. I'm 10 years old. I'm 12 years old. This is what I did to protect them. But find that kind of funny. All right, so I think we're gonna go in order. From 1 to, you know what? We're going to start at 221. Just to make it fun. Which I opened, I literally pulled just some random, and 221 was the first one I pulled. That is crazy. And that would be to 442. 440. 440. What am I talking about? All right. There we go. Looks like it's all the reds and all the greens. We will be starting with yellow or purple next time. But there is no reds or greens. That's kind of cool. They're evenly split. Purple and blue up there. Yellow all the way to the back. So we'll do either yellow or purple and blue next. I know what card number 1 is. It is my favorite card in the set, I think. So that's why I started in the middle. I know that the highlight stuff is at the end. The best card is at the front. So I decided I'm going to start in the middle. But that doesn't mean that there aren't still stars in here, because the whole set, every star is in here somewhere if they had a card this year. So Let's switch over to card capture. And let's start with Kurt Stillwell, Chuck Jackson, Dave Martinez. I don't need to be putting them down like that. That's silly. These are all getting split up, pulling stuff out. I'm not trying to keep the numbers together. Dave Martinez, Tim Leary, Steve Garvey, Greg Matthews, Doug Sisk, Dave Henderson, Jim Dwyer, Larry Owen, Andre Thornton, Mark Salas, Tom Brookins, Greg Brock, Rance Mullinkins, Bob Brower. I'm sitting here going, these cards are actually in pretty good shape considering. Joe Necro, Scott Bankhead, Doug DeSainz, whatever, Tommy John, Rich Gedman, Ted Power, Dave Meads, Jim Sundberg, Ken Oberkfell, Jimmy Jones, Ken Landro, Jose Oquindo, John Mitchell. Someone watched last week's video and now they're watching this week's video and going, do you have any stars in your collection? Is there anyone worth keeping in your whole collection? It doesn't look that way. Sure doesn't look that way. Don Baylor, Scott Fletcher, Al Newman, Carney Lansford, Johnny Ray, Gary Pettis, Ken Phelps, Rick Leach, Tom Stoddard, Ed Romero, Sid Bream, Tom Niederfer, Rick Dempsey, Lonnie Smith, Bob Forsch, Barry Bonds. Still a Pirate. 1 year after his rookie, 86, but whatever. 87 was his rookie cards, considered his rookie cards. And that is a second-year Barry Bonds in fairly good condition. I mean, look at those borders. I hope that dot is probably, but that might be worth taking a look at some point. Willie Randolph, Mike Ramsey, Don Slott, Mickey Tettleton, Jerry Reese, Mark Sullivan, Jim Morrison. No, not that Jim Morrison. Steve Balboni, go Gators. Dick Schofield, John Tudor, Jerry Brown, Harold Reynolds, Gene Larkin, Willie Upshaw, and Teddy Higuera. All right, here we go. Terry McGriff, Terry Pule, Mark Weisenberg, Luis Salazar, Ted Simmons, John Shelby, John Smiley, Kurt Ford, Steve Crawford, Dan Quisenberry, Al Wiggins, Randy Bush, John Candelaria, Tony Phillips, Mike Morgan, Bill Wegman, Terry Francona, Mickey Hatcher, Andres Thomas, Bob Stanley, Al Perique, Jim Linderman, Wally Backman, Paul O'Neill, Hubie Brooks, Steve Bushell, and Bobby Thigpen. Love me some Bobby Thigpen. Definitely not a big name guy, and this may not stay. I haven't really redefined, but Bobby Thigpen is one of my 3 favorite closers of all time. So, the answer to your question is Dennis Eckersley, Bobby Thigpen, and Troy Percival. George Hendrick, John Moses, Ron Guidry, Bill Schroeder, Jose Nunez, Bud Black, Joe Sambito, Scott McGregor, Rafael Santana, Frank Williams, Mike Fitzgerald, Rick Mahler, Jim Gott, Mario Duncan, Jose Guzman, Lee Guterman, Dan Gladden, Gary Carter. Gary Carter is one, I always say this, he's the first guy out for me. When I make my list and I decide, okay, you got to keep it to X number of people, whatever, Gary Carter is always the one. Him and Will Clark is like number 2. One day when I finally expand my list and make it how it's supposed to be, I'm going to be like, yeah, Gary should have been in and I should have kept all those cards. But then I'll have happy hunting. I'll have to buy 88 score boxes to open just for fun. Bill Darley, Paul Nance, Angel Salazar. Now that is all of the red. That was all the red. 2 cards in all the red. But that would be a 6th, essentially. I bet if I do the math, because we grabbed a 3rd and it turned out to be exact numbers of colors, I bet that that's a 6th. I bet that that's 105 cards there. All right, here we go. Into the green. Goose Gossage, George Frazier, Rupert Jones, Billy Joe Roberto, Mike Scott, Randy Myers, Michael Scott, Bob Sebra, Eric Show, Mitch Williams, Paul Molitor. There's one of my guys. Love me some Paul Molitor. Paul Molitor is a second team guy. He's not a first team guy. He's a second team guy for me, but he's one of my favorites. Gus Polindor, Steve Trout, Jerry Don Gleaton, Bob Knepper, Mitch Webster, John Morris, Andy Hawkins, Dave Leeper, Ernest Riles, Dwight Gooden, also left out, Dave Rigetti, Pat Dotson. Now you may be looking at going, how can you leave Doc Gooden out? That's a great one. Well, my answer to that is buy one of my Mets team packs for $1 and you may get it. John Habiyan, Jim DeHace, Brian Smith, Matt Young, Tom Pagnozzi, Floyd Rayford, Darryl Strawberry. If you buy that Mets one, you might also get Darryl Strawberry. Sal Butera, Domingo Ramos, Chris Brown. Go sing, Chris. Jose Gonzalez, Dave Smith, Andy McGaffin, Stan Javier, Henry Cotto, Mike Burbeck, Lenny Dykstra, Dave Collins, Spike Owens, Gino Petrelli, Ron Karkovice, Shane Raleigh, Dwayne Bruce, Bill Pacoda, and Leon Durham. We have now made it through half the green, and we only got 1 card. It looks like we're averaging 2 cards per stack. Per color, I should say. Ed Olin. Now, once we get to yellow, we're definitely going to get more than there's special stuff in yellow. Ed Olin, Bruce Hurst, Bob McClure, Mark Thurmond, Buddy Bialcalana, Tim Conroy, Tony Gwynn. There we go. Now we're talking about top 5 for me. And the phone went to sleep. Did it again. And I even made sure that beforehand I need to find a fix for that. That needs to be fixed. I guess I'm going to, for now, for the time being, I have to shut it down and turn it back on before we continue. But Tony Gwynn, top 5 for me. All right. Greg Gross, Barry Lines. You are correct. I do have the best viewers. Mike Felder, Pat Clements, Ken Griffey Sr. It's 1 year before Griffey Jr. Mark Davis, Jose Rio, Mike Young, Willie Frazier, Deion James, Steve Shields, Randy St. Clair, Danny Jackson, Cecil Fielder, Keith Hernandez. Lots of stars, just not my stars or superstars. And maybe some of them are, but Don Carmen, Chuck Krim, Rob Woodard, and Junior Ortiz. But definitely there are names in there that other people, at least if they were doing it my way, would definitely pull. And then there are ones that I will pull that they'd be like, oh, yeah, they're fine. I just didn't like them. Glenn Wilson, Ken Howell, Jeff Kunkel, Jeff Reed, Chris James, Zane Smith, Ken Dixon, Rick Horton, Frank DePino, Shane Mack, Danny Cox, Andy Van Slyke, Danny Heap, John Cangalosi, John Christian, Joey Cora, Mike Lavarlare. All right, that's it. This is the end of the green right there. The end of the video even. Kelly Gruber, Bruce Benedict, Lee Matsuzek, Kent Tekulev, Rafael Ramirez, Mike Flanagan. Come on, give me one more. Mike Gallego, Jose Castillo, Neil Heaton, Phil Gardner, Mike Doon, Wallace Johnson, Jack O'Connor, Steve Jeltz, Donnell Nixon, Jack Lazorko, Keith Comstock, Jeff Robinson, and Greg Nettles. Not getting another one. All right. Now, I think, let's see. We got 4 cards out of 220. That's 1 card out of every 52 and a half cards or so. But this is number 265, 307, 34. Nope, it's not. I was waiting for one to be 250, one to be 300, one to be 350, one to be 400. I thought that because I know that like card number 1 is a big deal and card number 100 a lot of times. So I thought maybe that's why was they were putting the stars in the big numbers, but nope. All right, so we got 4 cards. You know what else? We didn't even get twins to give to Shane. The bartender collects twins. I give him the best twins as long as it's not like Kirby Puckett because he's one of my guys. But it's like no Gary Gaetti, no Ken Herbeck, no, nothing like that that I could have thrown his way. Which just means that the next time we get to these, we're going to have more and even better players. Guys, thanks for watching. I will be back in a few minutes with another video. I'm going to go see and grab another box for those of you live. If you are watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. Let me know. I mean, you can't let me know what you want me to open per se because I open what I have. But let me know if my method is a little off and you think that there's something I could do different. I can't make the cards any better, obviously. But maybe we can find a way to jazz this up a little. So leave that in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video.